Hello guys, it's Wobbly here again, talking about Overlord episode 5 of season 2, which if you ask me was a pretty good episode. It kind of went how I predicted in my last video, but also kind of didn't. Because, first of all, from the beginning, of course, you have Ainz and everyone else talking about how they thought their meeting with the Lizard Man went, what they think they're going to do, and of course, right afterwards, they also have basically just have a meetup and talk about the possible threats. And I find it funny because Demiurge makes a throne for Ainz in the meeting, which is made out of bones, and no matter how Demiurge puts it, those were human skeletons, which apparently Ainz did not feel comfortable sitting on. So I find it funny because they still hadn't thought of something to do for a punishment for Shoutir for betraying them. So, because he did not want to sit in the skeleton chair, he used Shoutir as a chair. Which is kind of funny because, and disturbing at the same time, because the disturbing part is how Shoutir didn't seem to mind. That's all I'm going to say. It was weird. Then, of course, you have when he's spying on the lizard man, he sees, warriors training, and then some stuff he did not want to see. And then, of course, we go on further in the show where they actually, in the episode where they actually are preparing and the army appears. Cocytus arrives wearing his full battle armor. And all of the chiefs of the Lizard Men come up and basically challenge him. It's sad. The one who I thought was the coolest one died first, and that's the guy who was dressed in all that bone armor from, I think it was like the Razortail tribe. He died first. He got slashed straight in half. Which is odd, because he was using a spear, so he should have been out of Cocytus's reach. But, can argue with some things. And then, of course, you have the one guy who's supposed to be the leader of the most powerful tribe who got his arm cut off. He was still technically alive after that point. And let's see, there you have the other guy. I forget what tribe he was from, but he was basically just using a slingshot, which did no damage to Cocytus, to the point where Cocytus got annoyed, and I forget what he did particularly, but basically one-shotted the guy. He then continued on. One of the other lizardmen, the actual chief, decided to heal everybody, except for the one that got cut in half, because, he's dead. They, of course, go in for another attack. And the main lizard man, I guess you could say, tries to use his frost blade, but Cocytus just catches it in his fingers, as you can see with this screenshot that I'm using. And basically just comments that it actually is a nice blade, but it doesn't do anything to him because he has magical resistance with the armor he's wearing. And basically just flicks it away while slashing the guy. But everyone, of course, not everyone, after they're healed, they get back up. The one guy, the member of the Crocodilian tribe, I think it was, tries to hit him again, but gets finished off by Cocytus by getting slashed diagonally across the chest area. And then, of course, the two brothers from the last remaining tribe basically talk to each other before trying to, a final time, to take down Cocytus. They both sadly die, but it was a pretty good way to go out for them. And later on, of course, they bring the last remaining lizard tribe chief to the Great Tomb of Nazarick. And they basically make a deal with Ainz saying, Ainz makes a deal with them that as long as they remain loyal to him and do not disobey him and basically just stay under his rule and obey everything he says, he will revive one of the lizardmen, I forget his name to be honest, but the one who was using the frost blade, said they'd revive him. Which they, of course, agreed to these terms and brought him back. And after that point, they have Ainz walk off, and everyone basically sees at this point that this guy's in charge. He can both kill us all and bring us all back. So there's no point in resisting his rule. That's basically how they left it off, if you ask me. That's kind of how I viewed it. And as far as the whole battle went, I find it kind of cool, because Cocytus was obviously excited that he was fighting some genuine warriors who could actually withstand his magical attacks, to the point where he actually did have to fight them. And I also find it funny because he actually apologizes to the two warriors before he finishes them off, because he's only using one blade. I honestly forget his reasoning precisely, but yeah, he only fought them with one sword and killed them all with one sword, which was pretty impressive. Anyways, so later on, after that point, they basically just talk about how useful Lizard Man could be and leave Cocytus in control of the Lizard Man village and governing them. I honestly hope they continue on with this and show us more as far as how Cocytus governs the Lizard Man village and what happens during Cocytus's rule, as well as I hope they show more of the characters they showed us in the first episode, because I think they were pretty interesting characters that they definitely should show more of, especially since we're basically halfway through the season. It would be nice if they show more of those new characters, and if they actually give Ainz and the other side characters as well more screen time. But that's all I really have to say on the episode, so please like, share, and or subscribe, and I will see you all later. And until then, have a good night, and goodbye.